So guys, let's quickly begin with India Physical Environment, which is 11th standard NCERT book. Let me quickly help you to go through the syllabus which we just saw now. If you can see, first we have India location, which we have already seen with respect to latitude and longitude, right? Structure and physiography, where we need to see mountains, plateaus, plains and all, which we have already seen. Drainage system, rivers, we have seen. As I have told you, we have to go in detail here. Climate I have explained in detail, but I will tell you some additional factors which are important. Can you see here natural vegetation? We saw, but that was not proper. We have to see in detail here. Soils is the additional chapter. Natural hazards and disasters are also important associated with this. So guys, as I have already told you, if you can understand some of the basics of 9th standard, it would be easy for us to cover 11th standard NCERT book. I hope you have just revised it. So let's quickly begin with this particular chapter. So the unit 1 is actually about the India and its locations. Can you see this? The mainland of India extends from Kashmir in the north to Kanyakumari in the south, Arunachal Pradesh in the east to Gujarat in the west. This was asked once, which is the westernmost and easternmost states of India. So you will be knowing, but still I am just reading it out. And the territorial limit of a country extends till 12 nautical miles. This I want to explain now. See guys, if you actually consider a coast, and if you have some islands here, you actually draw an imaginary line between high tide and low tide. Remember, tide means because of the gravitational pull of the sun and moon, we usually observe the water level rises. Whenever the water level raises, we call it high tide. So whenever the water level comes down, we call it low tide. Fine. Now an imaginary line which is drawn in between high tide and low tide is actually called as baseline. Water whichever is present inside this baseline is called as internal waters. First you can listen, then again go back and write. Then when we say in ocean, we usually use nautical miles. On land, kilometers. In ocean, it is nautical miles. 12 nautical miles from the baseline is actually called as territorial waters. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is, as the name itself indicates, territory. It is part of India's territory. Can anyone enter into India's territory without India's permission? No. Similarly, here also whenever we talk about territorial waters, the meaning of this is international navigation, that is other ships cannot enter into 12 nautical miles. I hope you understand. So if any ship has to enter into this 12 nautical miles, then they have to take permission from us. So this is what we say territorial waters. Sometimes it is very difficult for us to locate where the ship is actually coming. Is it closer to 12 nautical miles, or should we stop it before it comes into our territorial waters, or should we stop it after entering? So to remove these doubts, there is an international organization called as United Nations Convention on Law of Sea, which says that there can be another 12 nautical miles from the territorial waters, or in total 24 nautical miles from the baseline. It is called as contiguous zone. One of the most important aspect of this is, if there is a foreign ship here, our navy can go and ask them where you are heading towards. If they say we are going to Sri Lanka or so, they'll ask you go straight, don't enter into India's water. So we call it territorial waters and contiguous zone. Next, from the baseline, if I actually take 200 nautical miles, then I call it exclusive economic zone. What is the meaning of it? Exclusively economic activities in this zone is allowed for the host country, that is India. So we say baseline is an imaginary line between high tide and low tide. Water whichever is present inside the baseline is called as internal waters. Waters which are present within 12 nautical miles is called as territorial waters. 24 nautical miles is called as contiguous zone. 200 nautical miles is called as exclusive economic zone. Let me take another scenario where you have India and Sri Lanka. Now, in between India and Sri Lanka, there are places near Gulf of Mannar and Pak Strait where the distance between Indian coast and Sri Lankan coast is less than 400. Let's take a situation where it is greater than 400 or it is equal to 400. Then what will happen? 200 nautical miles will be given to Sri Lanka and 200 nautical miles will be part of India. But let me take a scenario, you have 360 nautical miles. Then what happens? 180 nautical miles will be of Sri Lanka, 180 nautical miles will be of India. So usually we draw a line, median in between. And as in ocean it is very difficult to differentiate this, usually we observe that the fishermen cross on either side. This is what we need to understand. I hope this is clear. So we are talking about exclusive economic zone here. Can you see? Nautical miles, 1 nautical mile is equal to 1.8 kilometer. Very, very important. Our southern boundary extends till 6 degree 45 minutes north. I have talked about latitude and longitudinal extensions. And can you see? The north-south is 3214 and east-west is only 2933. This is very, very important. India's north-south extension is more when compared to east-west. Is it correct? Yes. Then, when we talk about longitude and time, I have already told you that northeast and Gujarat is away from 30. So it means 15 degree difference, which means 2 hour difference. 15 degree is equal to 1 hour. 30 degree is 2 hours. So the difference between Gujarat and northeast usually has to be 2 hours, but we have taken a median line. So this is what we try to see. It's very, very important for us to look at this. This difference is based on the fact that distance between two longitude decreases towards the pole, whereas distance between two latitudes remains. You know the distance between two latitudes will be 111 kilometer throughout latitude. That's why it is called as parallel. No need to see this much. Then you have size. Just go through this once. Not important for us at all. This is very, very important. Few mountain passes such as Khyber, Bolan, Shipkila, Nathula, Bomdila, very, very important. All the laws are very, very important. The reason for this is these are passes. India and China fought near this. So it's very, very important for us to read about this or remember about this. Without Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, it is 6,100 kilometers. Along with them, it is 7,517 kilometers. Very, very important for us. And when we talk about neighbors, you're all aware that Afghanistan has border with India. Sri Lanka is actually separated from this by Gulf of Mannar and Pak Strait. So this should be enough. If you can go through these things carefully, it is more than enough. No need to worry much. So let's quickly take the next chapter. So guys, we have to look at structure and physiography, where we need to see mountains, plateaus, delta, plain, all this comes into picture. So I have already told you about plate tectonics. So it's important for you to see here that Indo-Australian plate hit the Eurasian plate, and because of that we have got several structures here. So on the basis of this, we have to see. I have already told you how the plains are formed and how exactly we have maintained it. Now let us see the first important aspect, that is the peninsular block. As I have told you, the peninsular block in the north actually starts from Aravalli range near Delhi, and then they roughly move parallel to Yamuna and Ganga river, and then they reach Rajmahal hills, correct? And then you have a Malda gap. I showed you how they turn the Malda gap. Along with this Malda gap, apart from this, we usually have the Karbi Anglong or the Meghalaya plateau in the northeast, and Rajasthan in the west are also extensions of this block. What is the meaning of this? You have Aravallis till Rajmahal hills, and then you have northeast India, especially Meghalaya plateau and Karbi Anglong plateau, and on this side you have Rajasthan. So this is what the northern part of peninsula looks like, and as I have already told you, above Ganga whatever comes is plains, and what separates the northeastern parts from the remaining part, it is Malda fault in West Bengal, and this is what I am telling you. This Malda fault, Ganga which comes here starts moving in this direction, again it turns downward. The reason for this downward movement is the Malda fault which is actually present. You can see a place by name Malda in your atlas, especially in West Bengal, and this separates northeastern parts from the Chotanagpur plateau. In Rajasthan, you usually observe desert-like features. Then, the peninsula is formed essentially by great complex of ancient gneiss and granites, and since the Cambrian period, the peninsula has been standing like a rigid rock, with exception of some of its western coast which is submerged beneath the sea, and some other parts changed due to tectonic activity without affecting the original basement. The meaning of this is, if we actually consider the Indo-Australian plate and the peninsular plateau, we usually observe that the plateau is something like this, and because of this you have Western Ghats here, and there is some plains which is inside water, and as there is area which is inside water, ships can come closer to the coast. I will just show you. When we actually consider the peninsular plateau, it is like this. Western Ghats is present on this, and usually the sea level is still here. Now whichever river moves here, they deposit in this region. You have continental shelf and slope being developed here, whereas here what happens, the sand particles or depositions takes place down. Only here some parts of estuaries will be formed. Here you see huge deltas being formed, but here you see estuaries being formed. Okay. Now ships can actually come closer to this. If you consider a port here, ships can come till here, and if you have a port here, big ships whenever they try to come, they get stuck here. So usually we see natural ports on the western side, and we see artificial ports. Not all are artificial ports, mostly they are artificial ports on the eastern side. The other term we use is western coast of India is submerged. I have already explained you the meaning of submergence. Eastern coast of India is emerged. So you get natural ports here, you get artificial ports here. Question of UPSC: why do you see more natural ports on the western side? Because there it is submerged. And then we need to observe about the Rift Valley. The Rift Valleys of Narmada, the Tapi and Mahanadi and the Satpura Block Mountains are some examples where the Indo-Australian plate is subjected to some sort of vertical movement. Plate tectonics we have already seen that there will be some sort of rift valleys usually whenever you observe divergent plate, isn't it? So, sometime inside or below the peninsular plateau there was some sort of divergence which led to this. Can you see? There is vertical movements and block faulting which has occurred. And remember, it occurs only in the divergent plates. The peninsula consists of relicit and residual, means old one, which is eroded, like the Aravallis, Nallamala Hills, Javadi Hills, Velikonda Hills, Palakonda and Mahendragiri ranges. Please just go through these places once. In optionals if you are taking, there I will help you how to remember them, but here it is not important. Then let us see the Himalayas and the peninsular mountains. The Himalayas along with other peninsular mountains are young, weak and flexible because it is newly formed. It can be easily eroded. Consequently, they are still subjected to interplay of exogenic and endogenic forces. Endogenic, building is taking place. Exogenic, erosion is taking place, right? So, one builds, other one erodes. Both are taking place in the young mountains of Himalayas. When it comes to plateaus, endogenic has stopped, only exogenic is usually observed. So, usually gorgeous V-shaped valleys, rapid waterfalls are observed. So, in the physical geography book of 11th standard, we will be seeing this. So, please mark there, read physical geography, right. Indo-Ganga Brahmaputra plain, very, very important. The third geological division of India comprises the plains formed by river Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. It is one of the largest after Amazon in the world, and here you have a depression which I have already showed you, because the Indo-Australian plate went and hit this, and because of this there was a depression formed, and in this the depositions took place. And we have also read that the plain level, it doesn't increase but it is almost flat throughout. Because it is flat, rivers whenever they go, they meander in this region. Since then it has been gradually filled by sediments brought by Himalayan and peninsular rivers, and the depth would be till 1000 to 2000 mean. It is evident from the above discussion that there are significant variations among the different regions of India in terms of geological structure, which are far-reaching impact upon other related aspects. The relief and physiography of India has been greatly influenced by the geological and geomorphological process. Next, let us see how exactly we are going to divide now. We have northern and northeastern mountains, plains, peninsular plateau, desert, coastal plains and islands. Let us take one after the other. So, the north and northeastern mountains when I take, first I start with Trans-Himalayas, then I have Greater Himalayan ranges which includes Great Himalayas and Trans-Himalayan range. Karakoram mountain range which hit first is the Trans-Himalayan ranges. Then you get the Middle Himalayas and Shivaliks. The general orientation of these ranges are from northwest to southeast direction. Himalayas in the Darjeeling and Sikkim regions lie in the east-west direction, right. That is, they are moving like this, east to west, they are moving like this, that is east to west, only near Darjeeling and Sikkim. While in Arunachal Pradesh, they are from southwest to northwest. They move in this direction, right. Then in Nagaland, Manipur and Mizoram, they are in north-south direction. The approximate length of Great Himalayan range, also known as the Central Axial Range, is 2500 km and the width is 160 to 400 kilometers. It is also evident from the map that the Himalayas stand almost like a strong and long wall between the Indian subcontinent and the Central and East Asian countries. Please go through this carefully once. Himalayas are not the only physical barrier. There are other factors as well. No need to remember. What is more important is the division. So, it is given different names. Kashmir or northwestern Himalayas. That is, if we actually take Karakoram mountain range, Ladakh, Zaskar, Pir Panjal, Greater Himalayas, these are part of Kashmir or northwestern Himalayas. Then you get Himachal or Uttaranchal. So before that, first let's see in detail what exactly we have to read with respect to Kashmir or northwestern Himalayas. I told you there it's only basic division, here you have to go in detail. So first important thing that we need to understand is, so Kashmir Valley and famous Dal Lake is between Great Himalayas and Pir Panjal range. This can be asked. Kashmir Valley is in between two mountains. Which two mountains? You have Greater Himalayas and you have Pir Panjal ranges. And here you have this. So actually in between these two, there was a lake. And over a period of time, as I told you, the mountains keep rising, fold mountains keep rising. When they raised, water in these lakes came out, and a small depression where the lake is still present is your Dal Lake. And whenever you have lake before and now if the lake has been removed, you get a soil called as Karewa soil, which is very, very important for you, especially when it comes to saffron production. This is the reason why in Kashmir saffron is grown very well. It is believed that they are thick deposits of glacial clay and other materials embedded with moraines. That is, glaciers, whenever they move, the sediments whichever they bring is actually called as Karevas. Usually they deposit in the lake, and once it is moved out, you get Kareva soil. Kareva soil is present in which part of India? It is present in Kashmir. Important glaciers of South Asia such as Baltora and Siachen. Siachen glacier is very, very important in between India and Pakistan. Pakistan occupied Kashmir and Indian border is present here. Now when we actually observe this particular region, 4 days once one Pakistani soldier dies, but within 2 days one Indian soldier dies, not because of fighting but because of extreme temperature. So this is very, very important for us. And then the Kareva formations are important for saffron, right? Some of the important passes like Zojila on the Great Himalayas and Banihal on the Pir Panjal, Fotula on the Zaskar, Kardungla on the Ladakh ranges are very, very important. I want you to go through all of this once. Some of the important freshwater lakes such as Dal Lake and Vular Lake, and saltwater lakes like Pangong So and So Mururi. Please remember this, guys. Dal Lake and Vular Lake are the freshwater lakes. Pangong So and So Mururi are the saltwater lakes present in Himalayas. When you look at these names, you usually feel they may be present in Northeast India. But remember, they are present in the Tibetan region. I want you to identify all these places in your atlas, or at least please type it in Google and mark it in your atlas. This region is drained by the river Indus and mainly its tributaries of Jhelum and Chenab. The Kashmir and northwestern Himalayas are well known for its landscape, tourism. You're all aware of it. Srinagar is the capital. Dal Lake in Srinagar presents an interesting physical feature. I have already told you that youth stage means it will be like this, right? Steep slope. Then the slope, first it will be like this, then it reduces, correct? Youth, mature, old. This is how it varies. Unfortunately, Jhelum river usually is present like this. The river enters. Immediately after this, you have valley. Valley means it is something straighter, that is, valley is straighter. So when valley is straight, again if you see down, it looks like this. The meaning of this is, first it is like this, then it is like this, then again it is like this. So actually Jhelum is in its youth stage, but as soon as it comes on the Srinagar valley, it moves in this way, and then again it goes down. So we say Jhelum river is still in its youth stage. It has not entered into mature stage. We call it completely matured only if the entire area is like this. But here what is happening? First you have steep, then like this. So because of this, it is still in its youth stage, but when it comes here, it meanders. So Jhelum is the river which meanders in its youth stage. UPSC question, why do you see floods in Kashmir? Because of Jhelum river which meanders in its youth stage. The option will be correct. Usually you get confused, how can a river meander in its youth stage? So by looking at that word, you get tempted and you mark it wrong. So you should be careful. The next important thing that you need to observe is with respect to Himachal and the Uttarakhand Himalayas. So here what you usually see, tributaries, this part is between Ravi river in the west and Kali. So here it is actually in between Himachal and till Uttarakhand. So you can usually identify this particular Himalayas. So we call it Himachal or Uttarakhand. It is in between Ravi river and the Kali river. It is drained by both Indus and the Ganga. The tributaries of Indus, that is Ravi, Beas and Satluj, and tributaries of Ganga, that is the Yamuna and Ghaghra, usually flow in this region. The northernmost part of Himachal Himalayas is an extension of the Ladakh or cold desert, and here you have Spiti subdivision, not required but just see once. These are great Himalayan ranges. The lesser Himalayan ranges which are present in this, Pirpanjal ranges, is actually present in Kashmir. So if you see Doladar in Himachal Pradesh and Naktiba in Uttarakhand, they are part of lesser Himalayas. And then what you have is Shivaliks. You all know that greater Himalayas is continuous. Lesser Himalayas has some passes in between or breaks in between. Pirpanjal, Doladar, Naktiba, all these are best example of lesser Himalayas. And then you have Shivaliks which also broken into pieces. Some hill stations are present in this region, and you know that the two distinguishing features of this region is Shivalik and the dune formation. Some of the important dunes in the region are actually your Chandigarh Kalka dune, Nalagarh dune, Dehra dune, Harike and Kota dune. Very, very important. So let us see what exactly is the cross-sectional view. So can you see first, you have Kunlun Shan mountain, Tibetan plateau, Kailash ranges, Ladakh ranges, Greater Himalayas, Middle Himalayas, Shivaliks, Ganga plain. This is how the structure is actually present, right? So after this, let's see. There is a particular community called as Bhotias who are present in this region, and they usually migrate. Whenever they migrate in search of summer grasslands, usually we observe that they enter into the other parts of Ladakh and all, and they give information if there is anything associated with Chinese incursions as well. So when we talk about the famous Valley of Flowers is also situated in this, UPSC usually gives you Valley of Flowers is present in which of the following regions. So you should be knowing it is present in the Himachal or Uttarakhand Himalayas, and the Prayags are also present in this region. Then you have Nepal Himalayas, we are not interested, we need to see the Darjeeling and Sikkim Himalayas. They are flanked by Nepal Himalayas in the west and Bhutan Himalayas in the east. It is relatively small but is most significant part of the Himalayas because it has some of the fast flowing rivers like Teesta. It is the region of high mountain ranges like Kanchenjunga and deep valleys. The higher reaches of this region are inhabited by Lepcha tribes. This time it is important because of the Nathula Pass and the issues associated there. The British, taking advantage of the physical conditions such as the moderate slope in this region and thick soil cover with organic content and well distributed rainfall throughout the year, they introduced tea plantations in this region. UPSC mains question, why is this region chosen usually for tea production? The reason is you have moderate slope present, thick soil cover with organic content, which is good, and along with this they get rainfall throughout the year. All these conditions helped them to give tea plantations. As compared to other sections of the Himalayas, these along with Arunachal Himalayas are conspicuous or by the absence of the shivalik formations, and in the place of shivaliks, as I have already told you, you have duars or doors, and it is in this region usually tea plantations are usually seen, which have also been used for the development of tea gardens. Sikkim and Darjeeling Himalayas are also known for their scenic beauty. UPSC 100 words were asked from here till here. If you knew this along with map, if you can present, you would have scored very good marks at that time, right guys? So every line, any question, if it has reason, it's very, very important for you. You can see 2014 question paper, directly UPSC has asked you, why are these places chosen and why not the other regions? Arunachal Himalayas, these extend from the east of Bhutan Himalayas to the Difu Pass in the east. The general direction is southwest to northeast. Some of the important mountain peaks is Kangtu and Namcha Barwa. These regions are dissected by fast flowing rivers, right? Rivers Subansiri, Dihang, Dibang, Lohit, UPSC has asked these passes in which of the following states, so please be careful, and they follow Jumming cultivation, very, very important for us. Abur, Mishmi, every hill has a tribe and the name of the tribe is also associated with the hill. So both are very, very important for us. Then you have the eastern hills and mountains where Patkaibum, Naga, Manipur hills, Mizo hills or Lushai hills, and they follow Jum cultivation, shifting cultivation. Very, very important whenever we talk about Northeast India, right? And the physiography of Manipur is unique because you have mountain surrounding the valley throughout, and you have Loktak Lake in between, and the deposits are called as molasses deposits, soft deposits which are present in the lakes, and most of the rivers in Nagaland form the tributary of Brahmaputra, while two rivers of Mizoram and Manipur are tributaries of Barak River, which is in turn tributary of Meghna River. When they wanted to construct a waterway on Barak River, UPSC question was, Barak River is a tributary of which river? It is Meghna. Most of the students got confused and they marked it Brahmaputra. So what exactly you see? You have mountains, western side is India and eastern side is Myanmar. Rivers flow on both the sides. Till Nagaland, rivers go and join Brahmaputra. Below Nagaland, the rivers go and join Meghna. Barak River in turn joins Meghna. The east flowing river join Chindwin River, and the Chindwin River in turn joins Irrawaddy River. Can you see here? Tributaries of Chindwin, which in turn is a tributary of Irrawaddy River. Every line can be a question. So what did we see? Northeastern Himalayas, if we consider, some rivers flow to the west India, flow to the east Myanmar. Whichever rivers flow to the west, if you consider till Nagaland, they are actually tributaries of Brahmaputra. If you look at Mizoram and Manipur, they are actually tributaries of Barak River, and Barak River is in turn tributary of Meghna. Whereas when we actually consider the eastern side, the rivers go and join Chindwin River, and Chindwin River is a tributary of Irrawaddy River. This is what we need to understand when it comes to this. Then what is more important for us is with respect to northern plains. We have already seen this. You have Babbar, Terai, correct? And then you have Bangar and Kaddar. You know Bangar is old and Kaddar is new. Babbar is a narrow belt ranging from 8 to 10 km parallel to the foothills. As a result of this, the streams and rivers coming, they disappear. Can you see disappear in this zone? South of this you have Terai belt where the stream re-emerge, and they are marshy, very good for agriculture. And then you have old and new alluvial. Old is Bangar, new is Kaddar, and if you have salt in this, you call it Kankar, correct? Usually in this region, river meanders, oxbow lakes are usually formed, correct? You do not have any feature throughout, is what we usually observe. Then you get the peninsular plateau, which can be divided into Deccan Plateau, Central Highlands and Northeastern Plateau. I have already talked about this. Now let us go in detail about the Deccan Plateau. So it is bordered by Western Ghats in the west, Eastern Ghats in the east, and the Satpura Maikala ranges, Mahadeo hills in the north. That is, it is below, right? Western Ghats are locally called by different names: Sahyadri in Maharashtra, Nilgiris in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, Annamalai hills and Cardamom hills in Kerala. UPSC prelims question, very, very important. Western Ghats are comparatively higher in elevation than the Eastern Ghats. Again, a very important fact that you need to remember. Anaimudi, Annamalai, all these names are very, very important, and Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats, they usually meet at Nilgiri hills. Eastern Ghats, comprising the discontinuous and low hills, are highly eroded by rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. We have already seen this. That's why I am just going quickly. And you are also aware about the Central Highlands, which is bounded to the west by Aravalli range. Satpura ranges is formed by a series of scarped. This forms the northernmost boundary of the Deccan Plateau. It is a classic example of relict mountains, that is, after erosion whatever is left. And in deserts you see barchans. So you may get a doubt, what are these barchans and all? Can you see these? Marustali, barchans, these are the pictures. And the eastern side of this region you have Central Highlands. Banas is the only significant tributary of the river Chambal that originates from the Aravallis in the west. So just see this, apart from this nothing much is important. Next, Northeastern Plateau. In fact, it is an extension of the main peninsular plateau, but it is separated by the Malda Gap, as I have told you, right? A depression. Today the Meghalaya Plateau and the Karbi Anglong Plateau stand detached from the main peninsular block, and then we need to understand here that the Meghalaya Plateau is further subdivided into Garo, Khasi, Jaintia, named after the three tribal groups who are present in this region. And this plateau also has coal, iron, ore, limestone, uranium and others. Just see this, which we will be covering in mineral section as well. Then you have Indian desert. It is actually present on the northwestern side, and you know that rainfall is very less or limited in this particular area. This region receives low rainfall below 150 millimeter per year. Hence, it has arid climate with low vegetation cover. It is because of these characteristic features that this is also known as Marustali. It is believed that this region was under the sea and later it has come up. Gujarat and Rajasthan is said to be under sea. We have read that Dwarka was under sea and it has come out now. The Luni river flowing in the southern part of the desert is of some significance because it is the most important river present in this region. And you have lakes and playas present in this region, which is brackish, and salt is usually obtained from this. And then you have coastal plains, the western coastal plain and the eastern coastal plain. The western coastal plain are example of submerged coastal plain. I have already showed you. It is believed that the city of Dwarka, which was once part of Indian mainland situated along the west coast, is submerged under water. I told you, right? And some of the important ports, Kandla, Mazgaon, JLN Port, Marmagova, Mangalore, Cochin are natural parts and they are present on the west coast. I have already showed you this. Extending from the Gujarat coast in the north to the Kerala coast in the south, the western coast may be divided into Kutch and Kataivar coast in Gujarat, Konkan coast in Maharashtra, Goa coast, Malabar coast in Karnataka and Kerala, or Kannada coast, which we have already seen. And in the western side, rivers whichever when they enter, they do not form deltas because the space is very less. Estuaries are usually formed. The Malabar coast has got certain distinguishing features, that is, in Kerala you usually see backwaters or kayals, right? So these are some of the important things that we need to remember. As compared to the western coastal plain, the eastern coastal plain is broader and it is emerged. Because of this, artificial ports are present and deltas are very well developed. Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, major rivers which flows also form good deltas here. And because of this, that is, the continental shelf extends up to 500 kilometers into the sea, and it has made development of good ports and harbors difficult. Some of the ports are Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Kolkata, all this comes under this. Then you have the islands. Bay of Bengal, which is about 572 islands. The two principal islands which are present here is Ritchie's Archipelago and Labyrinth Island. The entire group of island is divided into Andaman in the north and Nicobar in the south. And 10-degree channel usually separates Andaman and Nicobar. Can you see here? Yes. And some of these smaller islands are volcanic in origin, and Barren Island is the only active volcano situated in the Nicobar Islands. Please read it, it's very, very important for you. And this factual information where they talk about important mountain peaks present on every group of island is also important for us. Then Lakshadweep is actually divided into Lakadiv and Minicoy, right? And these islands are usually coral reefs. There are approximately 36 islands, of which 11 are inhabited. Don't think Lakshadweep means lakhs of islands. Minicoy is the largest island with an area of this, and the entire group of islands is broadly divided by the 11th degree channel, north of which is Amindivi Island and to the south is Cananore Island. So 10 degrees separates Andaman and Nicobar. Amindivi and Cananore is separated by 11 degree. Very, very important. Please try to see this once. Coral reefs usually look like this. Is it fine, guys? So it's very, very important for us. Please see this. Can you see here? In which part of Himalayas do we find Kareva formation? Can you tell me? Kashmir Himalayas. Loktak Lake situated in Manipur. These type of questions. Which one separates Andaman and Nicobar? 10-degree channel. UPSC prelims question also, right? So please go through these things carefully. Every line is important. We have already seen, we are just memorizing the facts. People ask, sir, notes for NCERT. Every line is important. What is the use of notes, right? So let's quickly take the next chapter.